Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the Patreon. Here you can gain access to a continuously updated sideboard guide and primer on Legacy Doomsday, as well as being able to send private messages. You can join the Patreon by clicking the link in the video description or going to patreon.com/NebelShootMTG. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video playing Doomsday. And before I jump into the deck tech and into the league and everything, I just want to give a quick shout out to the new Patreon members. Thanks so much. There are so many of you. I am completely overwhelmed. If I forget anyone, I apologize in advance. So Olga, Devin, Nayoshi, Claudio, CD Mills, Grace, Justin, Chad, Ben, Colton, Gabe, Kyle, Sean, Peter, James, Josh, and Michael. Thanks so much, everyone. I really do appreciate it. And if you're not part of the Patreon, you can do so if you want to and get access to primer, updated sideboard guide, and just random Doomsday posts that I make during my week and my month and my life and everything. All right. So having said that, I have been having a really good time playing this list here. I did make a little bit of a big decision, which was to cut the Quantum Riddler. As it turns out, and I would not begrudge anyone from playing Quantum Riddler. I think it's a good card, but I was just finding the utility a little bit like limited after having tested it for a longer period of time. So basically, aside from the absolutely amazing corner cases where it lets you beat endurance with no cards in hand, passing only the turn once, I was finding myself in situations where I was either able to win without using Quantum Riddler, or the spot where I needed a Quantum Riddler, it kind of required my opponent to not play optimally. Because if my opponent just used their interaction, be that a removal spell, a dress down, consign a memory, or Pyroblast or Force of Will, if they just used that on the Quantum Riddler, then the protection that I was going to get into my hand, the Flusterstorm or the Pact of Negation, if you played that, just didn't matter. And in that sense, it kind of reminded me a little bit about, of Ideas Unbound. But it is still, I think it's a better card than Ideas Unbound. I think it's still a total legitimate inclusion to have if you feel like it. Yeah, so Riddler, I decided to, for the time being, sub out onto the bench, and I subbed in a second copy of Thoughtseize. I just feel like it's a good card. It makes sense for us to have more than one. You could also choose to add like the Fourth Days or a copy of Flusterstorm, and while it might seem a bit haphazard to switch out a utility card with a piece of disruption, I feel like that's what makes sense for me. You could also add like a fourth Street Wraith, or if you want to open up, like go from one niche card to another, you could add a Deep Analysis. But this is where I'm at. In the sideboard, oh no, actually one more thing. I decided to cut the fourth Underground Sea for the second Undercity Sewers. So that I've been kind of happy with that. I was initially quite reluctant. It was something that Kai Sawatari suggested to me a couple of weeks ago, and I was initially a little bit skeptical because I have actually tested a little bit with two Surveillance way back when they first debuted, and it just you invariably end up mulliganing some hands that, or rather maybe not mulliganing, but you end up in a situation where if they're in your opening hand, it's a bit of a cost, right? That's already the case sometimes with just one, and now we're doubling the amount. But the bonus or the payoff from having them is what it gives you, like on turns 2 and beyond, where like having that extra surveil is really, really, I think, like good. It's hard to put a value on it, but I think it's very good. So like testing with this, I'm not like I could go see myself going back to the former setup, but right now I'm feeling pretty good about it. And then the sideboard, it's what I've been running with lately. Been really happy with that, and the results have been pretty good. I decided to cut Shouldered and add a Cavern of Souls because I was finding myself in the tempo matchup. Having Barrogoyf plus Cavern of Souls is like really, 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 really very good. So going from 1 to 2 caverns seemed to make sense. We'll see. It is a little bit of a niche card. Only really comes in versus tempo. Is that good enough? I don't know. I would also. I am a little bit sad about cutting Shouldered. Having the Shouldered plus the second cavern also makes like the second cavern better. But I really was having a hard time figuring out what to cut. Initially, I cut like a Force of Negation, but that also made me feel a little bit underdressed, so to speak, for the combo mirrors. So here's where we are. I am going to jump into a league. On the play for round number 1. Yeah. I'm gonna keep this hand. Oh, we're up against the Yorion deck. So I want to play to have Flusterstorm up in case I'm up against a combo deck or a Thoughtseize deck, but what are the odds that Yorion is gonna Thoughtseize me on turn 1? They're certainly not 0. Like, Yorion could mean black, white, death, and taxes. But here's also like part of the cost of having the Undercity Sewers. But I think I'm gonna lead with Sewers. Like, even if we do get Thoughtseized, our hand is pretty resilient to that. We have like 2 of each of our best cards. So, and doing it like this, I think I put Daze in the graveyard. Uh, it gives us a chance to brainstorm into like a Dark Ritual and not needing to hit another land in order for this to work. Okay, Marsh Flat. So far so black white taxes. Force Will's not bad. All right, so we're gonna brainstorm. We can at least put one of the Doomsdays away. Okay, so that was good. I'm gonna put a Doomsday away and probably it's between Cavern of Souls and I guess Personal Tutor. I think I'm gonna put away Cavern of Souls. So Personal Tutor can be our pitch card to Force of Will, and that leaves us with Brainstorm and Flusterstorm here. And so probably my best draw is a Dark Ritual. But this is great. We get to Flusterstorm a Thoughtseize. We can Force of Will a Bowmasters if we need to. They mill over a Witch Enchanter. Okay, so this is some kind of taxes. Okay. They're representing Bowmasters here. Pretty obvious. We're probably going to be able to more or less ignore that. Get the second Surveil. And do I want to be dazing stuff here? Probably not. I don't want to return one of these lands, is the thing. It would be nice to daze the Bowmasters, so to speak, but we have Force of Will for that. And I am just going to put Doomsday on the stack here versus my opponent with no creatures in play. Obviously, I'm going to be completely, gotten if they turn out to be a blue deck and they have like, yeah. All right, so that wasn't the case. So I think we probably just go for a unprotected kill next turn. If they can somehow kill both of our lands, that's a little bit of an issue, but we can get around that by adding a Street Wraith. Okay, and then we want Consider. And do we want anything else? Do we want to put a land in there? All right, so let's make it so that we draw Street Wraith for turn. Assuming we have at least one land that we have access to, we can then just Street Wraith into LED. We can cast Ponder or sack LED. That draws us the Consider. The Consider then, with one of the 3 blue mana floating from the LED, mills over Underground Sea and draws Thassa. I think that's probably going to be good enough. But let's see. Our opponent may have some tricks up their sleeve. Who knows? Oops. No. Thassa on the bottom with Underground Sea on top, Consider on top of that, and then LED Street Wraith. And yeah, so if they like, is it this one? No, the other one. Oh no, I guess I can just Force of Will that. The White Orchid, that's the thing I'm thinking about. And if they have Bowmasters, here's which is what I expect them to have. I probably force it. I just need to do the math. um, oh no, it's Philia. Do I care about Philia? Ooh, I don't think I care about Philia. I can take the two. So I'm taking two from Philia, two from from Street Wraith. That's um, two from Street Wraith. That's that. Then I'm down to five. One from the force. I'm down to four. If they have a bowmasters and they save it for an opportune time. Okay, they did have bowmasters, but I am gonna force it because that will get like an extra ping out from the Philia. So and pitch the tutor. So we have the redundant cantrip here, no matter if they have a Thoughtseize. Here comes the Philia. I go to 6. Nothing to flicker. Um, so we don't even have to take the 4. We can cast both of our cantrips, but I think I will just, or take the 2, I mean, go to 4. I think I will just do that. I don't think it matters. We also don't need to crack the LED right now. Let's put Thos on the bottom, Underground Sea, and then the Consider, and not shuffle. And now we have to hold priority with the Consider on the stack and sack the LED. See into the graveyard, and there we go. All right, that was game 1. Onto the sideboard. Okay, I don't think that I have that much that I'm going to be bringing in. Bowmasters is probably their most relevant card versus us. It could stand to reason that we want to have something that kills a creature. They might have stuff like Deafening Silence, but in an 80 card deck, I don't think it warrants me bringing in Force of Negation. Yeah. Honestly, I almost am tempted to just not sideboard at all. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I should have swapped, like taken in a long goodbye for a Thoughtseize or something, in case Thoughtseize isn't that effective. All right, well, let's see. Opponent goes to 6. I unfortunately also have to go to 6. Oof. I will keep this. Opponent goes down to 5. I'll keep this and I'll bottom. Certainly not the Doomsday or the Dark Ritual or the Street Wraith. It's probably the Flusterstorm. I think it's between that or Daze. Like if they Thoughtseize me here on turn 1 or turn 2 in case I don't hit a land, then they take my Dark Ritual, then I need Ponder. So I don't want to give away Ponder. Aether Vial, okay. So if I could hit a land right now, that would be amazing. Nope. Alright, Street Wraith cycle. Fuck. Damn, okay, pass. Yeah, I mean, that was obviously a risk I was willing to take there. Let's see if they don't struggle. And no black mana though, so right now no Bowmasters. But if they have something like a Thalia here, I'm about ready to tap out. Come on, land. Yes, okay. Might be too late. We shall see. And I have to fetch into Wasteland here. They have, oh, is this Disruptor Flute? Okay, sweet. That's actually really good because that means we get to protect our land with this Daze. So here's what I think I want to do. I think I want to just bank on not getting Thoughtseize next turn. I'm going to be at 8. So I'm going to draw Petal. And then I'm going to play Petal on Underground Sea, and then I'm going to make a Jace pile just in case they have another Disruptor Flute. I think they would be more likely to name Thassa. I'm going to put Thassa in there also so they don't see that she's in the exile zone. And so, and Petal is what I said. All right, so the last card I have to put in is going to be a Cycler. And let's see, in case they have Bowmasters, then I would take, when I brainstorm, I would take 3 from the Bowmasters, go down to 5. If I then, and then I have to draw one more card. And so if I cycle Street Wraith, I go down to 3 and then down to 2. But then that's fine, right? And I think I lose if they have if right now what's in their hand is two Bowmasters and then they draw Black Source, then I lose. I think no matter what. That might be incorrect. I haven't gone through all the scenarios, but I think that is not something I'm going to be trying to play around. And the problem is if they have a Wasteland and I guess I don't have to play into the Wasteland. With Edge of Autumn, I mean. I think I would be able to draw Lotus Petal, cast Brainstorm, not play my land yet, then play LED, then play the land and slot. Yeah, okay. So I don't have to do the life loss thing with Street Wraith. Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. So we put I guess Thassa on the bottom, and then Jace, LED, Cycler, and Petal on top. All right, pass. If they do something like count my lands, I guess they don't know what's in my hand, so ignore that. I was just gonna say they could maybe deduce that going Disruptor Flute on Lotus or on Lines Out Diamond could be a worthwhile thing. Okay. So no Wasteland either, but the White Orchid thing is still a thing. So I am going to play around that until I have, like, because I can. So I'm not going to put out my land until Edge of Autumn is in my hand. Let's cast Brainstorm. They probably have the Bowmasters here. Nope, no Bowmasters. Oof, I wonder what they have then. We put back Ponder and then Jace. Then we play the LED. And because of how the Magic works, like playing the LED first and then the land, you don't get priority on a land drop, so we should be good here. And I guess then if they Disruptor Flute right now and name Jace, then we're cooked. That didn't happen. Plus Jace on me. I don't think anything with two none that I can think of does anything here. Yeah, okay. And we take it. Sweet. Off to a winning start. Let's go for round number 2. All right. On the play for round number 2. This opponent, _INF _ I can't remember who you are, but I do remember playing against this opponent before. All right, I'm going to keep here. I am actually going to cycle the Street Wraith because if I hit any land that makes black or a Dark Ritual or a Petal, then I feel good about firing this Personal Tutor off now. If I don't, but I do, then yeah, maybe I do something else. All right. I am not going to play out the Petal. I don't want them to know how close they are to being comboed. Playing out the Petal means that if they're a combo deck and they have days, then if it's a Doomsday Mirror, I guess basically, then and they send, but because I have both a Force and a Daze here, I feel pretty okay. Not a Wasteland, so happy about that. And now I do think I send it here. It's a little bit scary into the open blue fetch land. If they have Flusterstorm, that's pretty bad. We're basically down 2 cards if they have a 1-mana answer here because we spent the Personal Tutor and now the Petal. But let's see. Okay, they do fetch. I'm hoping this is just a Spell Pierce then. Or maybe it's a Daze. It's a Brainstorm. Okay, happy about that. That means now my Daze is on if they find a counterspell. So, yeah, it is Underground Sea Mirror. I guess the most likely is blue-black Reanimator or blue-black Tempo still, but love to see Force here, but no Force. Okay, I take the Cavern of Souls and Thassa, and I think I also take, honestly, I take a fetch land and basic island. This might be a little bit too much of a wimpy move, but if like one way I could lose here if my opponent has 2 wastelands in their hand. I'm gonna put in consider, I think. So basically what? I would draw the consider, cast it, hit, like put away Misty Rainforest. Is that even a thing then? I think it's okay. Yeah, I think either way. So I put away consider, I draw the island. That leaves me with 2 cards. What if consider was just a cycler, and I would like cycle into the Misty fetch. It's sort of the same thing. Yeah, let's try this. But having said that, I think probably putting in the cycler would have been better. I'm a little bit worried that I am giving my opponent too much time to actually figure this out. Oops, hang on. I think I need the island to not be the bottom card. That's just sort of muscle memory that I always put it as the bottom card when I have a fetch land. Yeah, so Thassa, Cavern on top, Island, Misty Rainforest, consider. Alright, pass. Alright, opponent thought seizes us. That's fine, we're not gonna force of will that. They probably take force or the brainstorm. Probably the brainstorm, I don't know. Maybe they think I need that. It all depends on what they're playing and what's in their hand. They take the brainstorm, okay. And here's a fetch. And a ponder, sure. As long as our opponent, I think, with what's just transpired, as long as our opponent doesn't, what am I trying to say here? Doesn't play a stifle effect, they shuffle the ponder, then I think we're good to go here. It does bother me a little bit that I ended up giving my opponent an extra turn, maybe than I needed to, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's cast this consider, get rid of the Misty and draw the basic island. And we'll play that out and pass. So yeah, if opponent is on Doomsday and they have like Dark Ritual Doomsday plus Force, then we could certainly lose here. I don't think other decks that play Underground Sea would really be able to hurt us here, but we'll see. Another Thoughtseize. Should I just daze this? Oh, it's the same, right? Let's say that they have a play they want to make. They know if I daze here, they can just not, they just can choose not to pay for it. And then it's basically the same thing except I'm tapped out. Okay, let's see. Let's have a look at the damage here. I just don't want to see Dark Ritual. Murktide Regent, sure. And that is a 7/7, so 2 Orcish Bowmasters gets us here next turn from them if they have double Bowmasters. If not, then I think we win, but we'll see. If they can put 2 spells in the graveyard and then cast another Murktide so that they get 2 more counters on it, that's also a thing. They had the Wasteland. Sure. It's Oracle time. We'll name Merfolk. And that is the game. All right, so looks like Dimir tempo. So we came prepared for that. I'm going to board in the 2 Brazen Borrowers, the Cavern of Souls, all the black cards here, possibly Nihil Spellbomb. We don't know that they're not also a Reanimator deck. Like everything they showed us would be in a Reanimator deck. Plus Nihil Spellbomb is also just okay to stop a Murktide, like preemptively. The Force of Negations I am unsure about. Let's see. So we'll cut the personal tutors and we will go down to 2 cyclers. I'll cut Lion's Eye Diamond and Jace and consider, I think. I don't think resolving a Jace with no Lion's Eye Diamond is that feasible in this setup. And I think not going through Lion's Eye Diamond is probably correct here. Yeah, so let's try this. I could also see like shaving a Doomsday, to be honest. Alright, I'm gonna keep this hand. It is almost great. I think if this Thassa's Oracle was another fetch land, I would be just, that would be divine. I think getting your basics out under you versus a deck like this is really important. Thoughtseize, okay. If I'm them here, I probably am interested in taking my Thoughtseize. Or, I don't know, like if they have Surgical, they might get cute and take Brainstorm. Yeah, but they do take my Thoughtseize. Alright. I'm in the market for a land, maybe not that land. I think I'm okay not hiding that information. And I'll take a ponder. And maybe I'll float the pedal here, just in case something happens that I want to force of will. I don't want to be blown out by a single daze. And they know that I have Brainstorm here. So maybe, I don't know. They're fetching Bowmasters. I will force of will that. They might force of will back. And if that happens, I think, yeah, we just have to obviously accept that. And it doesn't have to be the end of the world. I don't want to burn the pedal casting my Brainstorm here. What was pitched? Their Brainstorm. I would like to cast Ponder. It does hurt a little bit, but it doesn't have to be that bad. Okay, take I think I take the polluted delta. Yeah, and I pass. So I'm kind of hoping that what's in their hand is like a land and a consigned to memory. Oh, they have second Bowmasters. Okay, sure. Well, if I can find a Barrowgoyf off of my Surveil here, that might still stabilize us, but otherwise it's not looking too good. Let's get the second Surveil land going here. Brazen Borrower. That can relieve some pressure with the army. I think I will draw that, truth be told. And then I think I'm actually going to play out the Oracle here, both to get like a little surveil thing going on, but also to basically stop the Bowmasters from attacking. And I'm actually gonna put Force of Will on top here. Depending on what happens next turn, I might shuffle that. But if I get to a point where Thassa's Oracle is like a wall versus their two Bowmasters, and I get to petty theft the Orc army and have Force of Will, I'm kind of interested in that. Ooh, they put a card on top here. That's kind of scary. That's probably what they put on top. They don't shuffle. Fatal Push. Okay. Then I don't think I can afford to draw the thing anymore, and I think I will play into the daze here. If they have a daze, they have a daze. I'll petty theft that. Okay, looks like they don't have daze. I take 2, and now if I could just go ahead and draw a Barrowgoyf, that would be really nice. Okay, I'll pass. Here come the squad. I take 2. I go down to 6. Like if they have Kaito at any point, that's a pretty big problem. Okay, my Brazen Borrower is in. Come on, Barrowgoyf, fetch land. Oh, get out of here. Third Bowmasters? Can I even be, am I dead? Drops me to 5, and then I take 4, I'm at 1. Like, theoretically, I can still break out of this if I draw a Barrowgoyf. So, I am gonna just do that. My fetch land is off here. Murktide. Okay, I can no longer survive. Actually, that's not true. I can stay back and block here. Okay. Barrowgoyf? Is that you, buddy? No. Okay. Off to game number 3. Yeah, and I don't change anything here. I'm happy with. Oh, hang on. I have one street rate. Oh yeah, never mind. I am still a Doomsday deck. They sat on one card the whole game. I bet that was a consigned to memory. Oof, this is a mulligan. Okay, I'll keep this, and I will guess I'll get rid of the Underground Sea. And so I will just float the polluted delta here, and I'll Flusterstorm a Thoughtseize, and if not, then I'll surveil. Okay, looks like I get to surveil. Dark Ritual. I think I'll put that away. I mean, it is good if I draw one of my payoff spells, but I do have lands when there's another Dark Ritual. That's kind of awkward. Okay, I will Thoughtseize. And if they Brainstorm here, do I care? Disruptor Flute. Okay. What do I care about here? That's a good question. I think, like, if I take their Brazen Borrower, which honestly is probably what I'm most concerned about, do I give away my hand too much? I guess not my current hand, because I don't really have that much going on, but yeah. Um, I think I probably take I think I probably take the Brazen Borrower, to be honest. I know that I could Flusterstorm that, I guess, but um, them having the Wasteland is a little bit annoying. I do get to fetch basic Island, which is what I want here, but okay, they put a card on top too. There's the Wasteland. I'm not going to fetch Surveil here. I do want to get Island. It's funny that you would waste me here after I untap. Like, this land was tapped in your turn. Yeah, but that's fine. Doesn't end up mattering one bit. There's a Daze. I like that. Let's pass. I just need to hit, I think ideally Barrogoyf here, but Doomsday would also be interesting. There is Barrogoyf. Alright, I'm going to cast the Dark Ritual here, and that's kind of the key spell right now. And yep, here's Barrogoyf. If they force it Storm 3, then I fluster 4 copies on the force. Force pitching consign to memory. So if they have another force of will, they do get to win this counter war. They could also, like, ironically, if they had Disruptor Flute with my fetch land activation on the stack, naming Flusterstorm, that would be a pretty sick play. All right, here comes Flusterstorm. Same target. Have you found a second force of will? Or maybe a Flusterstorm of your own? Oh, I hope not. Daze. Daze on the Barrogoyf. That was a nice play that I unfortunately don't have an answer to. Okay, you got it. Do they have Bowmasters here? Disruptor Flute. This probably, I don't know, does it name Barrogoyf? I think I'm okay with this. We can play around it. If it is Disruptor Flute naming Barrogoyf, it's a little bit annoying. I think I'd rather save my days for, like, their Murktide or whatever it is that might be forthcoming. Yeah, it is Barrogoyf. They pitched their Consign to Memory, so Doomsday is on the table. That was the sewers they dazed away before. And they put Bitter Triumph into the graveyard. Okay. Brainstorm. I think I fire this off. So, like, if they have another land plus Murktide, then it's a little bit of a wash here. I think I put Petal and Long Goodbye on top of the deck, and then I play out my land here. And then if I get to daze this Murktide, then that's great. Like, if there's a Murktide I get to daze it, it's great. And if I don't, then oh, this sucks so bad. They had exactly what they needed to have. It's funny how that works. Okay. So I need to find a petty theft. So I'm gonna go fetch Undercity Sewers here. Barrogoyf. So Barrogoyf costs 6. I have 4 right now. So if I take the Barrogoyf, then they attack me down to 9. Then if I draw exactly Dark Ritual, I have a chance. But I think I actually have to put this in the graveyard, unfortunately. If there's a Dark Ritual here, I'm going to cry. Okay. Second, let's name Lurgoyf here. Give ourselves the chance to draw, I guess, Brainstorm into Dark Ritual or whatever. Oh, we have to remember the Force of Negation as well. Like, we can't just Petty Theft on our turn. And now they have a 4th land, so we just can't do it anyways. So it looks like we're going to be losing this. Yeah. Let's name Fairy. in case I draw the Brazen Borrower, I could at least have it as a blocker for one turn. All right, GG's opponent. All right, on the draw for round number 3. All right, I think we keep this. Yeah. All right, blue fetch land. What is this? Volcanic Island Ponder, sure. Our opponent shuffles, so probably like Sneak and Show or blue-red Cutter. I'm going to lead on the Undercity Sewers here. Get the Surveil, have better pondering options next turn. Edge of Autumn, no thanks. This gives away what we are, but I think that's still preferable, like giving away that information to having our hand cluttered up by 2 Edge of Autumns. Not a Wasteland. Cutter. I think I daze this. I think they probably have a bauble here. I think this, like, my hand is not coming together that much that soon that I don't think it's worth it. It's not worth it to do that. Oh, that was a little bit of an awkward sentence. I think I just go with another Sewers here. And let's put away Flusterstorm. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand. We have both the Thoughtseize and the Force of Will. Like, Disruption is not what we're looking for right now. I'll force it. They didn't daze before. Maybe that was because they had the second cutter, but I don't think so. Okay, so they did have the daze. But now they don't get a trigger off the bauble because they played a daze, which is at least something. There's a little bit of a rough resource expenditure there. Let's cast this Ponder. Dark Ritual. No, need that Doomsday. And I think I pass here, or do I? Maybe it's worth it to Thoughtseize them right now. No, I think I'll pass. I'll pass. Thundering Falls. And they liked what they saw. Scary. Murktide here would be pretty big. So, Cutter triggers here. They chose not to shuffle. And we take 2 damage. That's still not insane. They ball me. I'm going to be shuffling that away, whatever it is. This looks like a Murktide, or what? What's going on, opponent? Okay, no, they're just passing. Let's get the second Sewers. Let's get rid of Dark Ritual. Brainstorm. We like Brainstorm. And that's basically everything a grown man needs. Let us get rid of Street Wraith. And Street Wraith, or do I want that next turn? So basically, we would like to have both Underground Sea and Lotus Petal to do the thing around a daze. So let's draw the Edge of Autumn. And let's play out the Petal here. I don't think they have anything that punishes that and makes me not have to shuffle if I have to daze or whatever, but I think I'm going to Thoughtseize now. They have another card coming from the bauble. Okay. Force of Will and Murktide. So they thought about playing the Murktide before. I'm going to take Force of Will and just hope and pray that the top of their deck is not a Force of Will. It was a Wasteland. Okay. So we should be fine then. Their hand is Unholy Heat. And they're casting that to get a trigger. Makes sense. They are trying to close out the match as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to be quick enough. Now they can Wasteland. They do. Okay, so we are just ready to rock here. We know Doomsday's going to resolve. Alright, so we build this pile. We already have one of the cyclers in hand, so I just replace that with a daze. It doesn't really matter. That monk token looks like he's doing the Macarena, you know? Or some dance. That's cool. Oh wait, never mind. I thought I mistook the leg for the cape or whatever it is. Okay, never mind. So we put Thassa on the bottom with Street Wraith on top, and then the order of the last three cards does not matter. Cast the Brainstorm, and we put back Daze with Consider on top. We draw the Consider, put away Daze, draw the Street Wraith, go to 2. Good thing that Unholy Heat wasn't a Lightning Bolt. I guess, no, wait, I'm not sure about that. Not sure the math actually comes out like I think it should. Alright, we take game 1. Much like we did versus the last Tempo deck. Let's hope we can do better for the post-board games than versus Dimir. Because the sideboard plan is going to roughly be the same. We board in these 9 cards, and we board out the personal tutors. We go down on cyclers, and we cut LED and Consider. And I don't think I'll be bringing in the Spell Bomb. It does work versus their DRC shenanigans to an extent in Murktide, but they just refill so fast. That means we keep in Jace without the LED, which I just was saying that I didn't think was a great idea, but I don't know. Maybe I replace Jace with a Force of Negation then? Because Jace, like, versus the Pyroblast deck is just not ideal. Yeah, let's try this. So we're on 21 blue cards, which is okay. I think it's in the middle region of what I would be comfortable with. I think anything below 19, I start getting a little bit uncomfortable. Anything above 22, I start getting pretty comfortable. So, yeah. All right, we get this awkward hand that we have to mulligan, and we'll keep this hand and get rid of a Daze. This hand is pretty sweet if we can find a creature. We can fetch all basics. We have the Cavern. And I love that I'm not like facing a turn 1 threat. That can at least feel like such a massive difference in this type of matchup if they could lead on Dragon's Reach Chandler or a Ponder. It's funny, I can't remember if it was Kai or someone I was talking to about, or someone said it on a podcast or whatever, but it just really at times feels like Ponder has become just about the weakest thing that a blue deck can do on turn 1. But I think Ponder is still so good for later turns, but yeah. Alright, they don't shuffle. And another land, maybe not the best, but I'm going to fetch Basic Island and cast Ponder. And I think I'm going to cast Lotus Petal afterwards, because I want to be able to daze something on their turn if I have to. Force of Will, Flusterstorm, Brazen Borrower. I would love the Flusterstorm and the Brazen. Actually, I like this. Yeah, I'm going to take these cards. We can fetch away the Force, which is the one thing I don't like so much. And I'd probably be down for dazing a Cutter here. Not sure why they are thinking about letting my Petal resolve. That would be the very aggressive use of a counterspell, I think. Okay, after much deliberation, Petal resolved. Preordain, okay. Yeah, these Cutter decks want to maximize their maximize the prowess triggers and whatnot, and so they play cards like Preordain. Not sure I'm the biggest fan. All right, so we're gonna surveil here. If nothing else too catastrophic happens, and if we find a Barogoyf, then I feel incredibly like well off, because I will have the Cavern, plus I'll have Flusterstorm, plus Daze to protect it, like once it resolves, because it's going to resolve because of Cavern. But that's a lot of things that could go wrong here. Okay, they like the card they found on top of their deck with the Thundering Fall, so let's see. Wasteland is a little annoying. So is this Cutter. Yeah. But nothing to trigger it here. Alright. I'm going to fetch Undercity Sewers here. Their Wasteland will have a target, but that will in turn make my days better. Oh, Stifle, really? Hmm. So I guess that's okay. I'll draw the Force of Will, and then I will play my Bloodstained Mire and fetch basic Swamp and move on with my life. And I might just actually petty theft this little guy. If they want to start fighting here, that's fine. That puts my Brazen Borrower on layaway and kind of undoes their work here. Okay, so they want a daze. They didn't return the Thundering Falls. Interesting. I think I pay here. They might have second daze, which would be a little bit rough. I guess I daze that. They do. Be still my heart. They get another monk here, which is pretty neat for them. This was actually pretty disastrous for me. All right, well, I am going to daze, and we'll see where that leaves us. Alleviate some pressure, and we'll pass. Now probably my best draw becomes like a Ponder. Dragon's Rage Chandler, okay. Their hand is a land, Thundering Falls, and 2 unknowns. Another Force. Bauble here is strong. Very strong. And no creatures in the graveyard right now, so a Barrogoyf would only be a 4/5. And then a Ponder. And they liked the card they found on top. No shuffle on the Ponder. I think I pretty much have to hit a Barrogoyf like right now in order to have a chance. And even then, like, I only have the Force because I won't be able to hold up Flusterstorm on the turn it would enter. So what? I take 8 here, I go to 7. And then they just fetch. And draw a card, and I draw a Lotus Petal, and I am deceased. Even if I don't, if they didn't have a spell to cast. I mean, I guess I could try and play the Brazen Borrower. Excuse me, to block the thing, so maybe that was a bit premature, but still, it's not looking good. All right, we lose the second game. Let's go for game number 3. No changes to the sideboard. Okay. We have achieved liftoff, so to speak. At least we have a Barrow in our hand. That has kind of been the problem, I think. This was the first league I've played where I faced tempo and where I didn't have the shoulder but only had the 4 Barrow. And I have to say, I do kind of feel, it might just be psychological, but like feel the effect of having 1 fewer. Oh, hang on. Am I supposed to play one around Stifle here? I think actually I'm not. If they want to hold up Stifle, I have so many lands, it doesn't matter. Looks like that's not something they're interested in anyways. And they have a DRC. Okay. And no Bauble to back it up. And I will get a Surveil land here. Seeing as we have quite a few lands, I can risk playing into Daze, or rather into Wasteland. I think I'll take the Brazen Borrower. It's a blue card for Force, so now I like the Barrow game does kind of become a little bit like Protect the Queen in that sense. A bit concerning. We only have lands in the graveyard right now, but I'm sure our opponent will see to that not being the case for long. There is a Wasteland. So if they waste, I'm going to fetch, and then if they stifle, I'm going to daze, picking up the land that's being targeted by Wasteland. I'll take the Cavern of Souls. Thank you very much. Yep. Excuse me. 5 cards in all graveyards, all lands. I don't remember when that last happened to me. Okay. Let's play the Swamp. And pass. Bolt. Okay. Well, now there's an instant at least. They mill over a land. Why did you mill over something else? Wasteland. Boo. I'll float blue. Come on, cast a ponder. No, not another creature, god damn it. Okay. This is going to put another card type into the graveyard, so I'm happy about that. Oh, but I won't be able to daze, so if they have like removal plus counterspell. Well, I still think I'm supposed to play this out with my Force of Will backup here. They are only sitting on 4 cards. This will be pretty indicative if they attack here or not. They don't attack, okay. Dark Ritual, that's not too exciting. We do get to like bounce plus counter and stuff, so I will attack here. They don't block, okay, sweet. I get a trigger, gain some life, mill over cards. Hopefully I find a creature, but if not, at least grow my Goyf. Yeah. Okay, so now there was a sorcery. They surveil. Put days away. Okay, so now they're still missing 2 card types here. Lightning Bolt. Okay, big surveil. Sorcery. And if they find creature, they don't. Okay. So I'll take 3 here. Could daze, but I'm not interested. Roaring Storm. I'm almost tempted to counter this, but I won't. I also think I have to save Brazen Borrowers, like Petty Theft, to bounce a Murktide here. I guess if, like, I also have days to, if they try to cast it right now, but if they resolve Murktide. Okay, I go to 7. Okay, there's Murktide. So I'm going to daze here. That's going to make my Goyf a 5/6, which is going to move the needle into my favor. And the question is, do I Petty Theft one of these guys, or do I just hold up Force? I think I hold up Force. Okay, turns out I could have done that, but you never know, those sorts of things. Okay, time to hit a second Barrow Goyf off of this trigger. 5 cards. I will trigger it. And it looks like we're whiffing. Yeah, you can always tell, like, when you're not hitting, at least on my computer, it might be a hardware issue. Whenever I trigger the Barrow Goyf and it doesn't hit, there's like a lagging that happens for a couple of seconds, and then like my graveyard is just filled. Where it's like, if there is a creature, it reveals itself straight away. Okay, they're milling over a bunch of stuff. They are quite handily losing this race. Like, they are losing 5 life per turn, like per turn cycle, and I'm losing 1. So there's a ponder. I do feel pretty good with this amount of protection here. They find a wasteland for my Underground Sea. That's quite annoying. Turns off the bounce here, but I mean, they have 1 card in hand. About to be 2, of course, but I guess if they wasteland, they probably go after the cavern out of sheer fear. They don't shuffle. Play another bauble. Or they crack the bauble, rather. Okay. So now they have the option of like force, sort of block plus bolt here. But we have it covered. Another cavern. Well, let's attack. They don't block. Okay. We trigger. Yes, please. And we hit a Barrow Goyf. Alright. So that's good. I'll choose that. So I'm at 11. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast Dark Ritual. And then I'm going to Brazen Borrow, like Petty Theft. I'm going to Petty Theft one of these guys. Because right now, if they have like 2 bolts, then I'm dead. I force 1, but they hit me with the other, and then like hit me 3 times for 3 each. Okay, they brainstorm in response. That's fine. All right, and they concede. Sweet. So we take the win. We are 2-1, and Let's go for round number 4. All right, round number 4 on the draw here. I'm going to keep this hand. It's a little bit wacky, but it does put Doomsday on the stack on turn 1 if we wanted to. Opponent, meanwhile, mulligans to 6, and they're an Ancient Tomb deck. Okay. Ooh, what does that mean? All right, so we go Petal, Dark Ritual Doomsday. Second Petal, cast Ponder. Then what? Holy smokes, I'm not even sure this Ancient Tomb, what this could represent. If it's like Karn next turn, then obviously I'm gonna be kind of sad, but I do actually think I just go Undercity Sewers pass here. There's a consider. I don't want them to know that I'm Doomsday, so I'm gonna put that on top and pass. This could be seen as the coward's way out, but it is what it is. Volcanic Fissure. Okay, so if they go like Blood Moon here, oh Magus, yep, that's going to have to be okay. So we cast Dark Ritual Doomsday here, and then what's the plan? Stan. I think it has to involve Basic Island. Basic Island and a bunch of cyclers, and then I think we have to play out the Lotus Petal. Is there a way they can kill my Lotus Petal on like 2 lands over there or 3? I think I'm gonna have to just like risk it that they can't, because a Chalice for 0 effectively kills me here. So I'll be at 10. I'm gonna be at 8. Cycle 2 Street Wraiths. All right, we put Island on the bottom. Oh no! Hang on. I messed up. Yeah, I have two Edge of Autumns, so I can't put Island on the bottom. I'm gonna have to put Edge of Autumn on the bottom. Hey, that rhymes. Yeah. And then we play out the Lotus Petal and pass, and hope to not have like Karn or something come down, or some other thing that shatters my Lotus Petal. Like land Simian Spirit Guide Chalice for 2 has us completely cold here, but that's an eventuality I don't feel like I can really afford to play towards. Here's 3 mana. Sundering Eruption, that is fine. Search your library. Well, I guess it's not fine, but I'm going to search my library here, because if I don't, then my Edge of Autumns, either of them is dead. But this should be fine. Street Wraith, yep. And I guess there's no real point in sacking this. So it would need a 0 mana way to kill Thassa here, and they didn't have it. Okay, cool. So up against Moon Stompy. Usually these games are quite close and quite sort of coin toss like. We want the 2 Force of Negations here. There are Blood Moon and Chalice deck. Sometimes they're also Transfer deck. And there's certainly like the One Ring deck. Brazen Borrower is also nice. I think we want these 4 cards. I don't think we want anything else. I think Thoughtseize on the draw is pretty bad, and I think Flusterstorm. What does Flusterstorm do for us here? Like, they could conceivably be on Pyroblasts, but that seems like a little bit of a stretch. I think I'm happy enough to go down to like some blue cards because I'm boarding in 4 blue cards. Yeah, I think this is it. This is what we submit, and we hope that our deck performs. Basically, we need our deck to like maybe have an average or above average performance here. And this hand ain't that. Opponent keeps 7. Ugh. I don't want to go chasing a Force of Will, but like this hand is somewhat cold to a turn 1 Blood Moon. I'm going to mulligan and keep this and be happy as a Clemo. Send the Underground Sea away. And I might have to Force of Will just about anything here. Blood Moon. Maybe I have five black sources. And if my opponent ever finds like Chalice, then I'm dead to the. I'm not dead, but then it's like really hard from where I'm standing. So I think I'm actually gonna let that resolve. Okay, now 5 outs becomes 1 out, so this is really annoying. Now I wish I had just countered the Blood Moon. So I will counter this and hope to draw a Petal. Or my Swamp. That is not a Petal and not a Swamp. Okay, I'm gonna cast Personal Tutor, I guess. Get that part of it over with, although this is like where the Personal Tutor is quite annoying. Now if they have Chalice, luckily they didn't have another Chalice. They could have Disruptor Flute here. Yep. And for now that's just going to have to be okay. It means, but it doesn't really mean anything here in the sense that, well, I mean, it obviously does. If my next draw is a Swamp or a Lotus Petal, then it means I have to wait one more turn to do what I want. And they found the 3rd land. But no, they're not. Oh, now they're in combat. What's going on? I think they just misclicked into combat by mistake. And passed. Weird. Seems like maybe a mistake. Yeah. I'm going to play this. We have Brazen Borrower to draw towards as well. 4 lands. What is this? Sundering Eruption. Oh, wow. Okay, so I get my Swamp. That was, I mean, you know, you do you and I'll do me, but that was pretty interesting. Maybe they just didn't think I had Swamp. But now I get to do this. We still have to figure this out because, well... Oh, hang on. No! I forgot about the flute! Oh, hang on. Oh, thank goodness. I had another land drop for a second. I thought I just completely blew it. Okay, so we have the Doomsday. Whew. Okay, so right now, blue mana's off. So we're going to have to do it on the slow here. We could just put the basic island in there. And then basic island, brainstorm. Then we do a Jace thing. Okay, so we draw basic island, then we draw brainstorm, then we brainstorm and draw the last 3 cards. We put, yeah, we put Jace back, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yep. This could work. We need to have, I guess, we'll put Jace on the bottom with a cycler on top. Then LED. It is kind of rough giving them 2 turns here. We are at 9, but like what's it called? Pyroglyph would be pretty brutal. Bombardiers would be pretty bad. Sundering Eruption, really? So I'm not going to search here because I don't want to shuffle, and I'm drawing the basic island anyways. I guess I'll sit on that basic island. There's no reason to play it out here. And we'll pass. So we need 1 turn here where they don't Chalice us. Chalice would be bad, but not insanely bad. And another moon effect. Yeah, that's fine. So I think now all we have to worry about is them having Pyroblast. But even then, we have the days right now. Like if they were to Pyroblast this Brainstorm, that would be very nice for us. Okay, they didn't do that. So we'll put back, guess we'll put back Jace and And days, because we have to, because that's how this works. Oh, I guess we don't need to do that. We just sack. No, I don't want to sack the basic island. That would somehow feel wrong. I'm going to sack this Cavern of Souls and crack for blue. Oh no, they had the Pyroblast? They do! That's sick. Okay. Disciplined by the opponent. Alright, off to game number 3. Maybe I want the Thought Seizes here on the play, I think. What do I guess I cut a Force of Negation and a day. I don't know. I'll cut a Brazen Borrower as well. Wow, that was interesting. And this works. Gonna keep this Undercity Sewers. I'm not sure how. Like, I would prefer that. That could have been an Underground Sea, and I'm not sure. I guess then Undercity Sewers is fine here, but I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna Surveil Street Wraith. Let's put that in the graveyard. Blood Moon. I could daze this if they have a Spirit Guide. That's kind of bad. I'm gonna cycle the Street Wraith just to see what I hit here, and I hit my second Surveil land. Okay, I'm gonna daze, and that was dazed, so no Spirit Guide. That's at least something. But now they have 3 mana to my 0 mana, and I have 2. What the heck? My Undercity Sewers don't match? How is this possible? They have the same icon? They look the same when I'm hovering my mouse over, but like look down here? That's weird. I think I'm gonna play Underground Sea actually, and then have Consider open. That could hit a Force of Will, which I feel like I probably need. This looks like a Chalice. Honestly, Chalice is probably one of the things I'm less worried about right now. Let's cast the Consider. I think I will put Edge of Autumn into the graveyard. Hey! Petal was nice. Petal means, potentially anyways, Doomsday next turn. Fable, okay. Yes, I drew a Force of Will. That was actually exactly what I wanted to draw here. So having both of these is pretty bad. This is actually, I think, like, I would really prefer one of these be an Underground Sea because I can't get to 2 blue next turn. And just cycle, you know, into the wind. But we have the Force. That was a very good draw. All right, so I have Edge of Autumn, Island, Edge of Autumn, Thassa, and Cavern as my pile here. It gives us a nice slew of things we can play around. Like, we're not going to lose to a Chalice for 2. We will lose to a... We're not also not going to lose to Chalice for 0. We could lose to a Blood Moon, so we're going to have to... Or rather, I suppose we will lose to a Blood Moon if they are able to resolve one. They did draw... They did Rummage too. And we are going to have to pass twice here. Sundering Eruption. Okay, I'm going to take that. Yes, please. I really feel like these Sundering Eruptions are massive liabilities for the Moon Stompy deck. It didn't cost them last game. Okay, so right now I still can't win. So I'm gonna get through the Undercity Sewers here, and I guess I'll mill that over. Put that in the graveyard and pass. Now hopefully I get to win. They need to resolve Blood Moon here, and they have a Chalice for 1, so they can't Pyroblast my Force of Will on their Blood Moon. Bombardiers kills me, so that's no good. So if they have a soul land here, their last two cards are soul land, blood moon. They get us. Here comes the attack. I guess it doesn't have to be a soul land. It can be a 1 mana thing, like any land, but it wasn't. And so I'm gonna cycle, sacking the swamp. And I'm gonna play Cavern of Souls. And they concede. All right, cool. We beat the Blood Moon deck. It is, yeah, it's tough, but fortunately we came out on top there. I think it's a pretty even matchup. All right, we are on the draw for the final round. Our positive record is ensured, so this is for the 4-1 or the 3-2. In the dark, I will keep this hand. It is certainly not great. We could semi non-ironically power out a turn 2 Jace here with the 2 petals and protect it with Daze. So like imagine if we were on the play, that would actually maybe even be good. But as it is, I don't think Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and no creatures to protect it is going to be viable in on turn 2 in most Legacy games, but we'll see. Uh-oh. This is oops all spells. There's a Dark Ritual. And an Undercity Informer. I have to Hail Mary and hope there's a Force of Will on top of my deck. And there's not. Alright, I'm gonna let them do their thing. And they had a Spirit Guide to activate as well. Yep. 2 Narcomoebas. So what does that mean? That means there's a 3rd Narcomoeba in their hand. I don't see Pact of Negation. So my sources tell me that means that this is a deck that has a creature pivot. So they get 2. Do they have a bridge from below here? Or they must have Poxwalkers, right? And that says whenever you cast spell, blah, blah, blah. Where is the Dread Return? So they Cabal Therapy, naming themselves because they have to get the Dread Return out of their hand. So I get to see their hand. At least. And indeed at most, because now they kill me. I unfortunately was unable to. Maybe they mistype their Dread Return. But then they probably have a second Cabal Therapy. Not sure why this is taking so long. Okay, yeah, so there's Dread Return. And that is in the graveyard, and now they get to win. They probably want to... Oh, they had the therapy in hand, the last one. And that targets the Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, sure. Okay, so we have to... board in for the combo. I'm going to board in the 2 Force of Negations and 2 Graveyards Hosers. And then probably, I probably have to board in a couple of removal spells here. I'll board in the Brazen Borrowers. They can also actually clock them. And then I will board out Cavern of Souls. I'll board out Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. I'll board out guess like a Lotus Petal and the Cycler, 2 Cyclers, 3 Cyclers. Yeah, I need the 2 Cyclers to be able to same turn win, but I don't need to be ultra fast. But it is, on the other hand, nice versus the combo deck to be able to, like the combo deck that doesn't interact with you, to be able to sort of have a quicker path to victory. Yep, this works. If they discard my, or not discard, if I end up having to pitch my Thassa's Oracle here, then I can't Doomsday anymore. Having both a Force and a Cage is nice because this covers their combo. At least, you know, the graveyard part of their combo. I don't know if they swap to Charbelcher or something, but at least this covers the graveyard bit, and then we have Force for if they go like Ritual, Barrel Goy for Ritual, something crazy. Okay, let's Underground Sea, Grafdigger's Cage, go. I think my best draw here is a Brainstorm because I really want to get Thassa's Oracle out of my hand. I basically don't want to. If I cast Personal Tutor and Thassa's Oracle is the only blue card, then first of all, I have to like be able to pitch that. That means my Doomsday suddenly becomes incredibly awkward. And secondly, like I don't want to go for a Doomsday and then have Thassa's Oracle in my hand for them to Thoughtseize or Cabal Therapy. And for anyone wondering, I think Oops All Spells is a decent enough matchup for Doomsday. I like being a combo deck that gets to play Force of Will, Flusterstorm, and discard and whatever is pretty good. But it looks like they will be able to do something or other here because they had the 0 mana discard here. But yeah, I'm not too concerned with with getting killed right now, but because I had the cage, I mean, but they could like if they go Dark Ritual Barrelgoyf, then the race is on. They take the force. They could also just have like Charbelcher and then I'm dead. All right, but they didn't. Another Personal Tutor. I don't really think. You know what? Maybe I cast Personal Tutor and get a Ponder here, or is it a Thoughtseize? Oh gosh, I think it's a Ponder, and we'll pass. This is certainly a little bit anemic, but hey, this is where we're at. Dark Ritual, okay. And another one, yep. And a Balustrade Spy, okay. So they do target themselves, so maybe they have Thassa's Oracle already in hand. Not really sure what else this could be. Yeah, Thassa's Oracle is in their hand. But I see 1, 2, 3 Lotus Petals accounted for. How's Jack-o'-lantern? Exile this card and add a mana. Nice. So they just use the mana floating and they get to play it. I do have one chance here, which is to fetch Undercity Sewers, try and find a Force of Will, and then cycle Edge of Autumn into it. Okay, so let's try that. Daze also does it. Flusterstorm does not. Boo. Okay. Let's cycle this. Hey, we found a Daze. Get wrecked. Guess they have a card in hand. If that's a Spirit Guide, they got us. Oh my god. That's infuriating. Okay. GG's opponent. What a way to go out. All right, so 3-2 record. We lost versus Dimir Tempo and Oops All Spells in some tight games, I think. Well, the Oops All Spells game maybe not so much, but the Dimir Tempo, I felt like we took game 1, and then we had a pretty critical turn in game 2 or 3, I forget, where my opponent was able to leverage a Daze after I had Flusterstormed their Force of Will on my Barrelgoyf. I do wonder if I had just waited 1 or 2 more turns for another land, that could have been maybe the way to go. But I don't know. And then we also had some good wins. And we beat the blue-red Cutter deck. Yeah, and we beat Death and Taxes and Moonstompy. But yeah, whatever. I think like this list is pretty sweet, I have to say. I am happy. I would maybe just really like to find room for a Shieldred somewhere in the sideboard, but I can't decide. Could be I would be ready to forego the Grafdigger's Cage and just have one sideboard slot for Graveyard Hate. Maybe that's too reckless. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do the YouTube stuff. It really helps. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Check out the Patreon if you want some more content. And thanks so much for watching. I'll be back with some more Legacy. Bye-bye.